Hey, I'm Kev, Mr. Cole. Welcome back to TT Love Man right on the edge. As we're headed to Wales and Super Hillside for 2 races and a TT style event, 3 laps around the 8km circuit on our superbike. And this time it's the EBR 1190 RS instead of the usual Honda. I thought we'd try this out, see if it's much different from the Honda we're used to riding, as we've got couple of BMWs, Kawasaki and a Honda against us. Only 5 riders in this event, but it's got 2.5 stars on prestige out of 5, so it's pretty prestigious for us. So let's see how we do in the Shaw Super Hillside. So we are revving up on board the EBR. A pretty good getaway, not bad for the first time. That's a very different sound, isn't it, compared to the Honda. It's going to take some getting used to as we go through first couple of corners. Let's see what this bike is like on this first lap on board it. I don't want to be clipping the pavement like that. So that's a very good start. As are we first on the road, I see a rider behind, but I don't see anyone in front of us. Let's see how well we can do on board this bike. Go over the bumps, through the left, get down to second for the right, being very cautious. Well, first on board this bike, because it's not meant to actually be as good as a Honda. At least with the ratings in it, it's like top speed not as good, handling braking not as good, but acceleration's meant to be pretty decent, so we see how good it is out of corners. Let's see the lift for the left, major lift for the left, and then for the chicane through the left. To the right, a bit wide in the right. It felt like the rear wanted to do battle as well, getting on the power corner. But here we go, let's see the top speed of this thing then. So it's 190, 191, and that's it. When the Honda would be pushing 200, so we've already seen the top speed deficiency. Let's open in that. We've got it nicely slowed down for the hairpin, perhaps slow down a bit too much though. Accelerate away. Get down to 5th. For the right. Or for the left, should I say. Now for the right. Keep it in 5th. We're getting it down to 4th for the left. In for the right hand, they get it down to 2nd. Again, being a bit cautious on this opening that. That's good acceleration away. Let's head for the final sweepers on this super. They do mean super hillside course. Go through the final couple of corners and we've completed a lap on board the EBR. Now let's complete 2 more. Do this first race. This handling definitely doesn't seem to be quite there like on board the Hondas. Once again, we're very close to that pavement on the inside. Braking doesn't seem too bad though, but they're still not used to the superbikes and the braking. Still just not feel as good as on the super sport bikes. So we're going to take this in 3rd gear now. Very bumpy corner. That's all, we did a bit of a bunny hop on the exit there, like felt like on a pogo stick. You just play with the throttle through that right hander, accelerate away. Let's go up to 6th. Yeah, not reaching 190 through this section, is it? Only 187. So yeah, definitely short on top speed. But acceleration seems to be good out the corners. Give the bike that. Handling doesn't seem as good either. Like with the Honda, it's absolutely nailed through corners. It's beautiful. EBR isn't quite there yet, but then it's only our 2nd lap. We're still getting used to this bike. See what it is like after the end of this event. Engine braking seems to be pretty damn decent though. Going into the hairpin. Accelerate away, nice and smooth. Just like build a good gap behind to that rider. Don't think there's anyone in front for us to chase. It'd been nice if there was. You could have a visual kind of view of how fast we're going. Seeing that rider behind us appears seems to be pretty decent proof anyway. Get down to second. Accelerate away. Third, fourth, and fifth. And then we got to lift for this right-hander. So we can go flat out through the final couple of corners. Through the left, through the right, across the line, onto the final lap. Getting it down to fourth. Just dabbing the brakes slightly as well. Just being a bit cautious on this final lap. Don't want to be messing up now. There's no doubt you'll see in the outtakes at the end of this video. Let's go for the right-hander. Does seem to handle the bumps pretty well, too. Maybe a bit better than the Honda. Maybe the Honda's just a bit stiffer. Natural setup. Well, I'm just making things up again. So there we go. Hogo in again. On the exit. Yeah, it does seem to be pretty decent with the bumps. Accelerate away. It's unbelievable how fast this stretches. Flat out. Through the right-hander. Then lift in a straight line before the left-hander. Don't be turning while lifting. Sometimes that can cause the bike to just veer off. Accelerate away through the right-hander. We have half of that to go. This first race is looking very good on board the EBR. Nice having a change as well. A different bike. No scenery. Won't be much variation in the background of this career. We're only a single-digit number of courses, but at least you've got all these different bikes to try out. I know we've been pretty Honda so far, so it's good to try out different manufacturer, see what it's like. EBR seems to be pretty decent. It doesn't have that straight line speed, but acceleration is decent. I see it's taking my breath away, this bike. I can barely speak. Good thing it's only one race round there, right? So go through the final couple of corners to the right-hander. As you go through the final corner and across the line, 719.5 was that? 0.6. As we do a fast lap at 225 for that. And we're quickest by 35 seconds ahead of the Honda with the BMW in third, Kawasaki fourth, and Kent in fifth. So let's repeat that in the second race. So we are for take two. With an awful start compared to the first race. But let's see if we can be just as successful. See if we can get even more used to this EBR bike. Let's go into the right-hander. That's nicely towards the apex. You can feel the rear kind of trying to get away throughout the whole of that corner, so kind of adjusting all of that. But it stayed upright in the end, as you saw, almost losing it over the little rise there. Gets it upright. So go into the very bumpy right-hander. Get it down to second on this opening that. Don't need to push it so hard in this race with that half-minute cushion behind. You can afford just to cruise round, but I want to be cruising round. I want to be pushing this bike to its limits, to learn its limits as well. But you ain't really doing that first race. Kind of just learning the bike there. We still are learning the bike. It's going to take a few races, a few events to get used to this bike. I think I explained it before. Very much am an audio guy in like racing games. Like once I've got used to an audio of a bike or car, then I'm pretty comfortable on it. Feels very much at home on it. And then of course I'll be much quicker as well. But on this EBR bike, I'm still learning, I'm still adapting to the sounds. So I don't feel at all as comfortable as I am on the Honda. You're probably seeing that as well, the lap times, like much slower. In a few corners, a few places, just being a bit more cautious. So what I normally am for the Honda, like breaking into that corner. That's a nice line though for it. So I'm always listening for the downshifts. Listen to the engine if you hear a slight disturbance in the rev range, or maybe I've got to adjust for the rear sliding. And of course listen to opponents as well when I'm driving or riding, because I don't have the arrows. So I'm hearing out for their engines as well. See if they're nearby, alongside. So if I hear that difference, I know, oh, that's not my bike, that's not my car. Got to adjust here. If I don't see them in the mirrors. So yeah, it's going to take some getting used to, just the audio of this bike. You can hear in what's the little different cues, like that backfire. That's much more prominent, feels like, than on the Honda. And of course the tone of the bike is just different. Very much different audio. Going to take some getting used to. But this bike, I am enjoying it. Doesn't handle as well as the Honda, it's still decent. But still, at the moment, don't feel like I can push it as hard through the corners. We're going into a few corners. On the braking, it's alright. But then I'm not used to the superbike braking still, same with the Honda. Feels better than the Honda though, with the engine braking. Look at that, look how deep I could brake into that corner, get out a bit wide on the apex. But yeah, the engine braking seems much better on this bike compared to the Honda, even though it doesn't have as good a top speed. But it has good acceleration out the corners. So maybe this bike isn't for a track like this, very high speed. Like with most of the courses. Maybe it's just for the shorter courses, like the Milford Street Circuit. Remember around the docks in Wales, before that Herefordshire circuit, which we don't like to speak about. Maybe it's just for those little circuits, like the old Blair Witch race in Scotland, which we've been to recently. Maybe for those short circuits, not for this one. There's a bit more high speed, so it's ruled out of attending the TT with this bike, but still a decent bike. Just doesn't quite have its strengths there, where we do need the speed, the top end speed. The TT course, we need that slightly better handling. And the acceleration up the corners would be pretty fine in a couple of sections. But we'll definitely try this bike out again then, around no shorter circuits, see how it does. And we still got other bikes to try out, as I've already explained, so it won't necessarily be the Honda we try the TT in. The big event, the older man. Could be a bike we haven't even tried out yet. But we'll find out in the next season. If indeed it is another season, it could just be season 1 again next year. We're just extending it for a few years. Now that's how long a season is now. We are coming to the end of this year, this season. It's been a very successful one for Andy Adams, increased his fans quite a lot. Earned quite a lot as well. We're definitely getting some bikes in the off season. As we turn into a superbike rider next year, apart from the big one, of course, for the Super Sport. It's all a bit wide. Trying to get on the power, a bit of a wee on the exit. As we're almost there in this event. And yeah, this win streak as well. I can't remember the last time we've lost or finished in second. It's been a very long time. It's been an excellent run for Alan. So go into the right hander, feel the rear, that really sliding. There's definitely a feeling having all the super bikes and super sport bikes, that familiar feeling of the rear. Just wanting to wash out, but at least now it sticks a bit better and it's a bit more gradual. That rear slippage. So I don't think we slipped up in that race. Let's see, did a fast at 2:25.1, so that's pretty similar to the first race, isn't it? And we won by 26.5 seconds, so similar gap as well to the Kawasaki, couple of BMWs and the Honda in last. So overall, we're 50 seconds ahead of the BMW. We've got a few other riders. Quite a lot of other riders as well, 24 in total, but it's the EBR at the top. So excellent outing on board the EBR. Note we've got his invitational next month in October, but before then, we're heading back to the mountain course for sections 2 to 5 on board the Superbike and Super Sport Bike, 16.5 kilometers along that section. Not much of a fame increase, as you can see, not much of prize money, but it's just good practice around the mountain course, and we definitely need that to learn all of its nooks and crannies, just like we are on the EBR bike. We haven't learned all of it yet, but we'll try out on future events and see how it goes. But I hope you enjoyed this outing with a different bike. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. But we'll see. Go for the right, don't clip the grass on the inside or outside. Idiot. Maybe it didn't. Thought we were a goner there. Very good bike to ride. It'd take quite a few races, maybe even double figures. This is all about hitting those downshifts,